Welcome to day 13. We've got Big Strand, a single malt from Morrison and McKay. They're merchants, independent company. They're bottling an undisclosed Isla. And it always makes me want to go into the Isla bin over here and pull out all my Islas and figure out which one it is. But, oh man, this is all butter and smoke. It's like slightly burnt buttered popcorn. It's oily. It's salty. It's smoky. It ends with a toasted vanilla, like a top of a creme brulee, fired, you know. And there's some weird fruity notes in there, way back there. And not in the sip, but yeah, I love that. Big Strand, thank you. So let's talk merchants. So largely by consumption, the history of Scottish whiskey is whiskey merchants. As far as the public consumption is concerned and brands people know, what brought whiskey to most of the world, as opposed to just the locals drinking their local things, were merchants that were buying whiskey from distillers and either immediately bottling it or simply pouring it at their taverns or pubs, or mixing it with other things to create a consistent flavor profile that their customers would appreciate. And they were called whiskey merchants or producers or things like this, right? This is Johnny Walker, Buchanan's, Dewar's, White McKay, and on, right? Now you got Signatory, Duncan Taylor, Alexander Murray, which is American, but doing Scottish whiskeys mostly, and a few other things. Anyway, long history, right? And I've always thought it's a shame that there wasn't this strong respected tradition, that it didn't stay in America. Now the thing is, the history of merchants in America are long, and some of the original people, and still going, right? This idea that currently, you know, half the bourbon bottles on the shelf are made by other people and not made by themselves. Well, bullshit. That's how it's been since the 1700s, dude. This is not new. In America, they were called rectifiers, and what they did was they took other people's products and rectified them, or cleaned them up, or mixed them, or aged them, or did things to make them taste better, or simply bottled and sold, on and on and on, right? And actually, these days in America, you can't have just a permit where you only source other people's stuff. Like if we wanted to start a company where all we did was bottle other people's products and we never distilled, we still have to get the same permit that all the distillers get. It's called the Distillers and Rectifiers permit. That's what we had to get for our distillery. It's considered one kind of thing. But if you think it's only real if you make it yourself, you're on the wrong side of whiskey history. And why did it happen? Remember, since the 17 and 1800s, people have been taking other people's products, rectifying them in America, and selling them. But why? It's because they were all coming from Scotland and Ireland and Germany, where this kind of practice was common already. There were already whiskey merchants, already whiskey things, right? This was not new to them. They were just doing what they had already known. And I think it's awesome. I love curated whiskey selection, which is what all these are. Douglas Lang, Compass Box. It's curated whiskey profiles. It's amazing, right? Now, I do get why some people get frustrated. That does not have to do with rectifying or being a merchant and not making it yourself. It has to do with lying to consumers. It has to do with authenticity. It has to do with trying to pretend that you are something you are not. And I think distillers that do that, or rectifiers that do that, they get a justifiable backlash from the public and consumers and reviewers, because you should, you know, it's always a mistake to lie to the consumers, especially in an era where we have Google and it's not hard to find out what's going on. So, I mean, it's such a rookie maneuver to try to pull the wool. It's just, so I have no patience for that, and I get why people will be pissed off, but If you're honest about where you're getting your stuff, that you're sourcing it, what you're doing with it, and all you're doing is trying to create interesting products and whiskeys for other people to try, man, we are on your side. So, love it. Big Strand, well done, Morrison McKay. Until tomorrow, may your crazy stay this side of legal, and may you return before we have time to miss you. Cheers.